Hi, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of VPR Radio with your girl, Kiana the Goddess, and the one and only DJ FMI, who is keeping the whole world on tilt, quite frankly, y'all. What's up, partner? How you doing?
Kiana, I have been just running around the globe. That's what I'm going to say. We have a lot of things lined up this summer. But this weekend, I just finished tying up our 2-year anniversary. I hit the beat.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Yeah, time flies, Kiana.
Time is flying, bro.
Shout out to all the artists that have attended that event. Thank you for tuning in, Tron World, while the chat fills in. So many acts pulled up. And, Kiana, this weekend, you know how we are. We sit back and we've done so much over the span of our career and in the industry where we move at a fast rate. And plus, we're from New York.
Right.
So, but this weekend particularly, I was sitting there, setting up for the event outside. I had the whole team there, Shammy Bedside, Voice, and one of the hosts. And we were discussing a few things, and the artists were coming in. And one of the artists in particular came out back, and he was just, came to me, he was like, yo, FMI, I just want to say thank you. And I stopped and I said, what's going on? And he's just like, you don't understand what you've been doing for the entertainment scene, and you don't understand what you've been doing for the sound of New York, and you don't understand how big you are and what you're doing for Staten Island.
Facts, because you're very humble, bro, honestly. Like, you're very, very humble. Ever since I met you, you've always been very humble, but you are phenomenal. You are extremely talented, right? And you get things done, and you're a man of your word. Like, there's so many great things that I could say about you. So I completely agree, because you've been doing this for a long time. And you just keep it, right? Like, you just, like we said earlier before we got started, right? Just put that in your pocket.
A lot of things going on VPR, but, so just get ready for that. And you're going to see a lot of change to what's happening, and it's going to get on a bigger stage. So that I'm just happy to bring to VPR. But back to the weekend VPR. I just did my first event in Providence, Rhode Island. Dope. Shout out to Chi-Town. We went out there to celebrate her birthday bash, and she also had a showcase. All the artists that showing the hit with Beat Love signing up for us, that's trying to come to, work with us in our studio over here. We have our engineering work. So all you artists that are tuning in now, and you're in New York, you want your stems to get worked on by DJ from my Wasted 86, send your stems over. Okay. We'll send you packages, let you know our rates, and we can get your music out to you and sounding beautiful. But Kiana, VPR. Now, there's a lot of things in the world that I haven't seen, but I came across something this week in Rhode Island. First off,
okay,
I'm not even going to down talk Rhode Island. Yeah, I had some crackheads out there when I parked my car. I had to move my car now.
Listen, but check it out, partner. I went into NYC, and it's giving crackhead vibes too. You know what I mean? Right in the heart of Midtown. You feel me? Like that Penn Times Square area is getting more crackheadish by the day. It's been like that. It had it's right back.
But I thought New York crackheads and LA crackheads led the market, because I've seen LA crackheads in person. I've heard Portland crackheads is next level. My crackheads is crazy. VPR, we're gonna have a whole segment on crackheads. Who has the worst crackheads in the world? Anyway, so I'm driving through the Rhode Island, boom, boom, you know what I mean? Chains on, 5 of us in the car comfortably. We got the truck, 3 rows. Can't have too much men lapped up, no diddy. So we pushing through the city, and what caught me off guard, VPR, I've seen many dispensaries. All right, weed dispensaries. It's legal here in New York.
Yep.
The first thing I asked the team on in the car, I'm like, yo, make sure weed is legal in the state. I don't want none of us to get caught up. We got our artists.
Problem. Right.
Into the city. So, VPR, I look at the dispensary. They have a drive-through dispensary. I seen it all, VPR. Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. I was pushing the whip, and I looked to my right. It had a drive-through. The same way you would go pick up your Starbucks coffee is the same way you pick up your eighth. Like, oh, man, I don't got my smoke today.
Wow.
What would you like?
Right out the window. Dispensary. That's kind of lit.
Legal bando.
Though, did the drive-through have bulletproof glass? Because that's when you really know where you at.
Great. You see, I ain't say I stopped there, VPR. I can't be trusting everybody weed out here, man.
Well, that's a fact, right? Yeah. Just because it's there doesn't mean we're gonna stop. Okay.
You know what I mean? Catch me lacking. But it was a beautiful weekend. A lot got done. Tonight I'm DJing for Wu-Tang. I just got sent the information. So
okay.
VPR. I'm gonna be going live on VPR radio on YouTube.
Do you see how he just said that? Tonight I'm gonna be DJing for Wu-Tang, like real nonchalant. You know what I mean? That's what I mean about your humility, bro. I love every second of it.
Humility, VPR. I'm tired.
I know.
Just doing all of this, man. I really want to say thank you to all the people that have tuned into VPR over all these years.
Yeah.
And let's do our transformation. And there's a whole lot more of that to come. I promise you that. My work and Kiana's work will not go unnoticed, and you guys supporting us will not go unnoticed. So thank you.
Big facts. We appreciate you guys. Hard body.
What's shaking, Rashad Johnny? Hey, yo, we still going up. Hey, yeah. I need the interview. I got so many people lined up for VPR. Kiana, people coming up to me at the showcases saying, "Yo, can I get on the platform?" And I can't just give out the platform to everybody. So I had to really pull an artist to the side.
Right.
And while live at the show, I was like, "Hey, man, I'm excited to meet you. Thank you for chopping it up with me. But I would at least want to hear your music and see your performance before I offer this opportunity." And I was in front of another artist that I'm bringing up here, Kiana. He was overhearing it, and he was excited because he heard the other guy.
Right. And he's like, I already got vetted. I got on.
And he's going on tour with us.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Special kind of person. Like, the fact of the matter is that, people have podcasts and radio shows all around the world, right? And sometimes you have guests that are a little spicy. You know what I'm saying?
And go ahead, Kat. I'm gonna let you finish your thought.
The beautiful thing, I believe, about our platform, and because our energy is the way it is we attract these beautiful guests. And I believe in a 5+ year span, I can only remember 2, and both of them didn't even, one of them, we cut that interview short, and then the other one didn't even make it to the platform prior. We were like,
everybody in the comment section, if you could find the interview where you see Kiana, actually, you'll notice Kiana's whole facial structure change. That she normally smiles with on the airs, that changed, VPR. As soon as this man or woman said something, you seen Kiana's whole, let's wrap this up. It's time to go.
About this, they won't be able to find it because I already deleted it.
I thought we was low, VPR.
You don't even get public, bro. If you didn't catch that live, forget about it.
Make it to the waves, VPR. So, we do carry positive energy here, and we do love to reinforce that. And Kiana, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know what's been afflicting me with the new sound span of music, at least hip hop, because that's where I'm based at. Right. I mean, New York. I'm dealing with so many artists that are gang affiliated. Like we touched on last week, but tough guy persona.
Yeah.
And I'm watching how it's affecting their business, because in this industry, the way you treat others
is everything.
Directly in the camera, the way you treat others, exactly the way they're gonna treat you. And I see it play out beautifully.
The most beautiful part is because you don't know who knows whom, right? You don't know who's connected, and the industry seems like it's huge, but it's actually really, 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 really small.
It's very small.
It's tiny. And the bigger you get, the smaller it gets. And you're like, oh, I know that person. I know that person. You walk into a room like, FMI. We walk into rooms where we may only know one person, and how many people do you bump into that you know, or that know of you or know you, right? Like,
hey, good work begets good work, man. When you're true to your passion, everything else gonna follow. You know what I mean? I've seen over the years just so many entrepreneurs, they would say, of just scamming artists out of money for.
Oh my God, yes.
Or I can get some money. Like it shouldn't even be that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's why I stopped doing PR. Quite honest, especially with, like, for corporations or businesses, I actually will. But like for artists, I've had artists ask me to manage them, etc. I stopped working with artists a lot of the time because they've been so burnt out, and I respect it, but I'm like, my work speaks for itself. So you can't put me in the category.
Your experience in the industry doesn't define what my work and my experience would be, especially opportunities.
There's only a few key artists that I will work with, Pudge being one of them, like forever. That's, that's Pudge, right? Like forever, ever, whatever you want. Like we've done events for him, but don't get me wrong. If you have the budget and you have the professionalism behind you and you're not coming in trying to nickel and dime and you know what you want to press it or whatever the case may be, I can do it.
Questions you shouldn't ask me, Kiana. We'll start with a few VPR.
Okay.
2024, if you have to come and do an event or you're coming to a club, understand that the cover is going to be $30. Don't ask me.
Right.
If it comes to a club and they say dress up, you know what to wear. No Timbs, no boots. It's 2024, no ripped jeans. Don't ask.
Right.
And text me, yo, how much are drinks? My man, we live in New York City. We are in the city.
They're a lot. Figure it out.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask me. Or pregame, right? Don't ask, right?
You got to text me and ask me, yo, is guys free in 2024? Has been free for men in 2024? Don't ask me, man.
You know what?
Events, bro.
We should have a segment called Don't Ask Me, because there's so many areas that we can expound upon with this.
And it's true. Like, come on, we getting older. It's 2024. Like, you shouldn't. Come on, where will you go is free?
How about the Facebook questions where someone will be like, who knows of such and such, or how do I blah blah blah, and it's the same question that you could put on Google and hit search.
And the internet is right there, dog.
You're using the internet to ask a question that you can get on the internet. Don't ask me. That's right, Angel.
It's too early in the morning.
Bro, we'll talk about it coming soon.
Please, that segment's coming up, and I can't wait to add the people in the live to that segment.
Yes.
You see how Z100 had their little Elvis Duran in the morning? We got the Don't Ask Me in the morning, please.
Yeah, exactly. Don't ask me every Thursday morning.
VPR, guess what? It's your lucky day. I have energy now because I'm happy to see you guys. And I want to bring you to a party. Not any party. I'm bringing you guys to a Diddy party right now. All of you going. Everybody's seeing it. You can't even say no. It's happening. It's happening. We're going. According to Stevie J, this is the Diddy party that we ain't get to go to.
Oh, Lord.
Got at a Diddy party. Yeah, we can't go back.
I wasn't ready.
Happy birthday to me!
The best thing you ever been to,
Let's get it. On we got y'all open, now you're open, so you got to
I know, right, Kiki?
All right. That's enough video. Done party in VPR. That was enough.
Why you just do that to us? He said you don't even have a choice.
You don't have a choice, man. We have VPR in the morning. I'm gonna bring it to the party. You didn't even know you were gonna make it to a Diddy party at 11 in the morning. Guess what? I just brought you right there. We just all
into it.
Right there. So we do have our guest here on this beautiful rainy Thursday morning in New York City.
Yes, we do.
And I want you to introduce them and bring them up, please.
Definitely. So we have a phenomenal couple for you guys today, Christina and Edward Sledge of Sledge House Media. Let's bring them right up and get to it. How are you guys?
Hello.
How are you? Thank you for having us on the show.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's truly a pleasure. We want to talk about your company. We want to talk about your tour with your children's book, A Day at Shea, which is close to my heart because I used to live right by Shea Stadium in Corona, which is now Citi Field, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's beautiful. You guys are childhood sweethearts. Basically, we want to discuss your journey through being together, entrepreneurship, kind of coming together in that medium, how you find that balance. Let's just talk about the journey, like separately together. Let's get into it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot, right? Well, thank you for having us. Wow. We're both from Brooklyn. I was born and raised in Crown Heights.
I'm born and raised in Flatbush and grew up in Canarsie.
Yeah, and we met in Canarsie in high school.
By fate,
Yeah, at 14 years old, freshman year. Mm-hmm. And he was actually chasing another girl at the time.
Yep. So the second week in high school, I was in a gym class with another girl, and I thought she liked me. So I followed her to the lunchroom, and in the lunchroom, there was these two girls on the other side of the table she sat across from. So I sat next to her, trying to get with the girl, but Christina and her friend was on the other side of the table. So I'm not paying attention to Christina because she's beautiful, but I'm trying to get with the other girl, right? So for like 3 weeks, me and a friend of mine used to walk her and her friend and the other girl to the train station, right? Because I lived in Canarsie and she lived in Crown Heights, so they was coming from the train, the L train, all the way to my side of school. But the circumstances behind it, we wrote we have in our film, in the book, we talk about. So one day the girl didn't come to school. So me and my friend walked her and her friend to school, and we to the train station, and her friend come up to me and was like, "Hey, would you like to go out with Christina?" And I'm sitting there, I'm looking. This is 90. This is 92.
Do you guys remember that when the guys and the girls used to ask people out on their friends' behalf?
Yeah. That happened to us.
Parties, they don't do that no more, man.
They don't.
I didn't want to be rejected because the other girl, we were totally different. So I didn't know if I was his type. So I said, well, I'm going to send my friend over. I'm kind of shooting my shot, but I'll send her over. And then if he rejects her, then, he's not rejected me to my face.
So this is 92. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I said, why she don't come over and talk to me? And she was like, oh, my girl's shy. And I'm like, shy? I'm like, this is 92. Who the hell is shy? I'm from the project. So I'm like, no one's shy these days. But Chris is, she's different than any other woman I ever met, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go out with her. And ever since I talked to her that night, I've been chasing her. I've been chasing her in my dreams. If we break up in my dreams to this day, I'm still chasing her. Been out chasing her, broke up, chasing her. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You continue to chase her. That's right.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah. And so in our love story, we, our book and our memoir, The Story of Christina and I, and our film, The Joined by Fate, talks about all of this and how we have like these connections, these misconnections, which we later found out, is a TikTok trend, which is the red string theory or the invisible string theory, that, we had all these connections where everything was lined up, but we just kept missing each other until we finally met. So it's a really good love story. And so, that's kind of how we got started as a couple.
Yeah. Now, the business side, we've been married 24 happy years. So the business side, we didn't even think about it until I was getting my master's and I was taking a family relationship class. And as I don't know if you, DJ FNM, if you ever understand that men not used to telling, they what they feel. So in this class,
time on this platform.
I have my ears right now. I'm like, you might be on to something.
Yeah, so in this family relationship class, it was a young white woman that she had to write my story, had to write hers. So when I'm telling my story, she was like, yo, her story was like really crazy. And she was like, nah, your story is unique and I never heard anything like this. So I said, well, let me just write it down and then, have it for my daughters and my family in the future. But then I can't tell my story without having her in my life because I knew her since 14 years old. So I convinced her to write the book. We wrote the book. And ever since then, we started our company. And I was never a writer. And then I can't stop writing. Now I'm 24 books in. And it's like, instead of not shutting up, I can't stop writing.
I love that. So tell me, how many years ago was that? And how did you transition? Because you obviously both had your own careers up until that point. How did you transition from that being something you were doing on the side and building to saying, hey, listen, this is a company, this is a business, let's build this accordingly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? It started in 2021 after we wrote the book. We realized we had so much more content, and we multi-genre as well, not just our memoir. It was fiction books, thriller, suspense, cookbooks, children's books. So we knew those books would turn into screenplays, which then will become films. So at that point, I was like, okay, we have to make a company. This needs to be, we have to incorporate this LLC, so that we can, start trademarking, copyright, get the IP in order. So once we did that, we were off to the races. But we also kind of build off our strengths, because he's the storyteller, I'm the producer, I'm the boss, like get it done. I get out on the street basically.
And we respect that. At first we used to bump heads a lot, like throw chairs at each other. Shut up, I'm keeping this in the book.
A real wrestling match. I was gonna ask that. I know, right? Being together and living together is not exactly the same, right? So how did you work through those differences?
We just took it like we normally would take it, but we had to stay in each other's lane. We had to respect each other's lane and stay in it. Like we used to bump heads, but then I drew a diaphragm.
You making me forget now. But it's the diagram that has the two circles that intersect.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
It's escaping me the name of it, but
this thing where your strengths and your weaknesses and how you
right, and then those parts where you intersect. So we literally drew that, like we did it in Canva. We put it together. And we realized, okay, you do this well, I do this well. These are the parts that we need to do together. Without that, it's called a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Without that, we were button heads. Like he was getting in my lane, I was getting in his lane. I wasn't respecting his craft. He wasn't respecting my work. So once we did that, that helped. Yeah. It was a game changer.
So let me ask one follow-up question. I know FMI has a ton. Based on the fact that you guys were able to work through that in a real business way, kind of like business partners would do, right? It seems like the basis of your relationship and obviously the happiness behind it comes from really learning how to communicate and knowing how to communicate with one another. How did you guys create that space within your relationship so that even when you do butt heads, right, you can come together and figure out a resolution?
Yeah, I think that stems from just the love that we have for each other. Just the mutual admiration and respect that came into not only just from our marriage, but just as partners, as best friends. That was the easy part. It was just like, oh, okay. But I never worked with him before. So I didn't know his working style. So I think that's where we had to learn the working style. And when we did that, that's when we were able to just say, okay, our love is always going to be in the business. So that always gave us that foundation.
So I always tell people too, one of the base in life of relationship is love. If you have love and everything, I mean, you have real love. Anything else that's in that relationship that falls, that's your base. You can always go in there, right? Like I said, I chase this woman in my dream. So I just love for her, right? So once you have love, you trust each other. Now, when in high school we broke up and we went back and forth together, but we broke up. And 1 year I was in the military. I joined the military. She went to Temple, right? So fate has it, I shouldn't have even been in New York at the time for Christmas leave, but she was, right? So we link up, we see each other and had a car, right? Now before I was broke, I broke up when the high school's got insecurities, right? And at the time as a young man, you don't know that you have insecurities or you can't understand to tell people about it or understand what's going on, right? But as a man, you growing up, you understand that's what it was. So when we got back together, before we got back together, it was Christmas Eve, matter of fact. And we saw each other one day, right? So I come to her house and because our brother used to be close friends with me. So I went to her house and I didn't know she was going to be in New York. She didn't know I was coming to New York. right? So I went to her house, and now I got a gold chain, I have money in my pocket, I got a car, let's go somewhere. But we had nowhere to go, right? So I said, well, let's go back to where my father lived. My father always loved her. So we go back to my father's house, and my father, now remember, we haven't been with each other for years, right? So this is Christmas Eve. So I go in the back, talk with someone, and my father goes to her. He said, hey, if Eddie asks you to marry him, what would you say? And, she's like, yeah, I'll do it. She ain't thinking soon, right? No, I'll do it. So then I come out the room, and my father tells me, he said, hey, Christine told me, he always called Christine. Christine told me that if you ask her to marry her, she'll say yes. Then I know off the back I'm asking her, because I'm like, this is a done deal. So that night I asked her, and then less than 2 months later, we was married for $99. Once we got married, we had 50 cents in our pocket. So we started this relationship having to trust each other, because we wasn't living with each other. We was broke, but we had to trust each other, and that was our base from day one.
Kiana, I'm glad he brought that up here, because VPR, I wanted to show you this before we continued. I'm a DJ and I do a lot of weddings, okay? And, sometimes it doesn't work out. But when I went on your Instagram and this is what I seen, I'm like, here I am DJing these weddings for people, and they're spending over like $30K,
right?
$50K. You have this couple in front of us that all it took was $99. And one night, after not each other for, 2 years or a few years?
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
So in that 4-year time frame, you really developed a lot and understood, like, this is the woman that I wanted. Like, that's a man that stands behind what he wants, right? He's like, I'm not going to lose her again.
I used to get butterflies when I saw a phone number on my call ID. When she was with other guys, I went to pick up from work. We loved each other. Like, we couldn't go back out with each other because she didn't trust me not breaking her heart again.
Wait. Let's back up for a minute.
Let's hear your perspective for that.
And that's the good thing about the book. The book tells both sides from both of us.
He broke up with me on my 16th birthday, or the day after my 16th. I'm an Aries.
I thought you were gonna break up with me first. That's why.
He broke my birthday. It was only a few days ago. So
when's your birthday? So you're an Aries and you're a
Sagittarius.
November. Okay.
Both fire.
Yes.
But yes. So March 31st, right? He broke up with me on April 1st, so April Fool's Day, and no explanation. Just
how do you remember these dates like this? I'm just sitting back like,
you can't forget that.
Because you feel like a fool on April Fool's Day, and
right.
You're not gonna. That's a heartbreak, FMI. We don't forget those things.
I get you. That's what you write a song about. That's what you write a book about.
That's what you write about. That's right. That's right. Yeah, and so and that's okay. You see, that's a love story. So, I told him I'm not going back out with you after you hurt me like that. No, so he had to chase me.
Yeah, kept chasing her. She wanted to be chased. We kept chasing each other back and forth. Never went out with each other, but we knew if we wanted to, we could make it happen. But I wasn't upset that I couldn't have her. But I was mad when she was with other guys, and she was mad when I was with other girls. So, but the love never left. So after we got married, we had 2 quarters in my pocket. It was a snowstorm in Philly, and we got married in one of the row houses. So it was a snowstorm in Philly. I took one of the quarters out, called my father, and said, "Hey, I just got married to Christina." He wired us, Western Union us $50. Then after that, we took that, went to KFC, had our first meal as a couple. The rest is history. Now we've been married 3 times. We had a Disney fairy tale wedding.
We did a vow renewal.
Yeah.
So at 15 years, we had an actual wedding with family, our daughters, everyone. Like, my father walked me down the aisle. And then at 20 years, we had a Disney fairy tale wedding at Disney World. Yeah.
Beautiful. And for the time and the energy, like you said, FMI, the money that people put into building out this like wedding, and then the marriage doesn't have those key components to really having that foundation, right? You said over and over, the love was the core. So even though we were apart, we knew, like, you just had to pull the trigger, right? Like, once you heard she'll marry me, he was like, okay, let's do it. And to do that and be, that's where you understand that the real dynamic is love, right? And you're talking about KFC, and we've got lists on social media of like first dates that we will not do, blah, blah, blah. This was literally your first date.
That's what I'm thinking about when they're telling us.
You will never get to this beautiful point, because I think this is what everyone desires when they talk about a relationship, right? Keeping that happiness, beautiful communication, being able to build something together that can generationally be so impactful, and then being passionate, like you said, with love being that core for everything, for business, right? For anything that you're pursuing and doing. If love is there, it will thrive. So
Yeah.
I want to applaud you guys because you're dope. I did have one.
Thank you.
Do you guys accept like submissions for books and screenplays? Because you have a whole entire media publishing house. And if you do, what would that process be for people looking at your platform?
So what we do, we actually have a service where we help independent authors publish their books. So it's they keep their IP, they keep their royalties. We're just like the shepherds. Like we help you through the process. We get it, we take the stress out of it for you, so you don't have to figure it out. We get you all set up so that you have your own entity and you're publishing your own book. So that's what we do for people. Right now, we only publish and produce our own content, our own films under Sledge House Media, but we offer the service. So you can go to our website, sledgehousemedia.com, and look up Ready to Publish, and you can submit for a free 30-minute discovery session, and we'll talk through your idea, your book, help you. You can check out our services, prices for that. And, we want to help independents, just like we, demystify that process of getting your work out there, getting your trademark, getting your copyrights, getting your IP protected.
Cause we did all this by ourselves. And like I said, she's amazing. Like I'm just the writer. I write and I show up when she want me to show up. Other than that, I'm riding her. Let's go. You give her the ball, she's running, I'm following, let's go.
Executive and you're the creative. I love it. I love it. That was actually a personal question because I have a book. I had it published. I took it off. I updated it because in 10 years, the whole world has changed. And I didn't want it to be something that, seemed kind of vintage-ish. So I'll be in contact. But for the rest of you authors out there as well, now you know how they can assist independent authors.
So Christina and Eddie, let me ask you guys before we wrap up our interview. I see that you have a few dates on your calendar. You got May 3rd, Queens Public Library. You have May 4th, the Brooklyn Cyclones, and you have a few more dates to be announced. Let us know where you're going to be at. Let us know where they can find your work also and what you'll have to be said at those events.
Absolutely. So on May 3rd, you see our book right here. It's our debut children's book, A Day at Shea. It's about Eddie's true story of when he went to Shea Stadium as a kid and took a free ticket off the Frosted Flakes cereal box, got on the train in 86, got tokens. That's when we had tokens. Tokens, got on the train.
I don't even think you've ever had tokens, right, FMI?
No, I got me beat,
bro. That's great. You always been swiping Metro cards, tokens, and paper bus passes, bro.
Oh my gosh, paper bus passes. Yes,
paper bus passes.
Yes. So he did that, and so we made it into a children's book. She goes on this adventure. We made the character a girl.
Yeah, to honor her. Yeah. And we have daughters that like baseball too. So instead of me being a character, I told her. She said, "No, you make." I'm like, "Nah, make it a girl because this is her dream." Like I wrote it in a book, and she was like, "This is amazing. I didn't know the story because some stories you have back in your mind, you're never thinking about it." So she wanted to bring it to life, and I'm like, "Hey, let's go for it." It's we don't go by why not us. We go by we doing this, and what we want to do. We've been blessed to do it.
Yeah, and so with that, because Eddie's a girl dad, we have 2 daughters, and so it's like, okay, girl empowerment right now, girls sports, women's sports is having big movement, and so we wanted to definitely encourage that, inspire girls who want to play baseball, especially girls of color, boys of color. And so it's a really great message in the book. And so with that, at the Queens Public Library, we have a reading of the book as story time on May 3rd at the Rosedale location at 3 p.m. So come meet us. A great opportunity to hear the story. We'll read it to children, families. And then on May 4th at the Brooklyn Cyclones, in Coney Island, which is a New York Mets affiliate, right? Which is really cool because the book has the Shea tie-in to the Mets. We have a day that's dedicated to the book. So a day of Shea Day. So it's really awesome. We'll be there signing books. You'll get to meet us, and it's going to be, he's throwing out our
oldest daughter be throwing out the first pitch. So our older daughter kind of looked like the character.
Yeah.
So we're going to have her there, and she threw out the first pitch. And
I got to pull up with the family. That is dope.
I would love to bring my niece.
Pull up.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
So we have a lot of good fun activities where we can interact, and you can learn more about us in the book.
And in the future, we'll be at Brooklyn Museum, right?
Yes, in the summertime.
Trying to get dates for
we'll
that.
Have some more dates to be announced. So follow us on social media, Instagram, our website, sledgehousemedia.com for more updates.
Awesome. And we'll definitely bring you back in the summer so we can talk about your next projects. Brooklyn Museum is one of my favorites. So
awesome.
I love that. I know that's going to be great. They have some beautiful summer nights and events there. So you guys are an amazing couple, truly, to be looked at and admired for the love and the passion that you have for one another and for what you do and being so inspiring. So thank you for being here with us. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Have a great day, you guys.
Change the world. I love what you guys are doing, and just with the love that you guys have, gives me hope on this morning.
That's good. That's the key. That is the key. Giving people hope and inspiring people.
And watch our film, Joined by Fate. It's streaming now. Fire Stick. You can get it on Vizio TV, Samsung TVs, or the Fawsome app. Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's free. Yep.
And you follow them at Sledge House Media, right? On Instagram.
Yep.
And that's also your website, right?
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
Perfect. Check them out, you guys. They are amazing. We'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you in May.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. What an inspiring couple. Wow.
Yeah, VPR. You see, all the people tuned in right now. If you don't think you can find love, what you got to do is spend $99.
We really love each other, right?
And some good love.
That's right.
Hard times 20 years later, and look where they are now on VPR.
And I love how they commemorated, right? Like they let their marriage be lasting, and then they did these bigger parties, because at that point too, you've got the $20,000 to spend and then not be like, oh my God, I'm starting off broke, right? In a marriage. And then you already start having financial woes, which might already create problems. And by year 3, you're divorced with no assets. So,
not the divorce with no assets.
Said a lot. I hope to a lot.
Now, and I ain't trying. I said I done seen it too many times, and I ain't trying to have. You know what I mean? Nobody need to go through them hardships where you dislike somebody. You got to go through the courts to get that amended. You don't need.
Right. Yeah.
But VPR, it has been another beautiful, amazing episode. I am DJ FMI, and this is the beautiful Kiana the Goddess. Follow us on all our social medias. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and tune in later.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. So you guys be great. FMI, you're the best.
I'm trying out here, partner.
Got it, partner. See you guys next week.
Later.